Nobody talks enough about this, but Blac Youngsta's loyalty to Yo Gotti is on a whole different level, and once you hear the full story, it'll completely change how you see rap friendships forever. In an industry where loyalty usually expires the moment money, fame, or pressure enters the room, Blac Youngsta stood 10 toes down when walking away would have been easier and safer. While others switched sides, stayed silent, or played both ends, Youngsta made a choice that could have cost him everything: his career, his freedom, even his life. This wasn't just business. This wasn't clout. This wasn't a label move. This was ride-or-die loyalty in its rawest form. When the walls started closing in around Yo Gotti, when the internet was watching, the streets were whispering, and the industry was distancing itself, Blac Youngsta didn't flinch. He didn't run. He didn't rebrand. He didn't fake amnesia like so many others have done before. Instead, he doubled down. And that decision? It put a massive target on his back. From courtrooms to cameras, from streets to studios, every move Blac Youngsta made screamed one message loud and clear: I'm not switching sides, no matter the cost. Most rappers talk about loyalty. Most rappers rap about loyalty. But very few live it when it actually matters. And that's why real ones already know Blac Youngsta's loyalty to Yo Gotti isn't just shocking. It's legendary. And that's why real ones already know Blac Youngsta's loyalty to Yo Gotti isn't just shocking. It's legendary. But to understand why this loyalty means so much, you have to rewind the clock way back before fame, before the chains, before the millions. Back when Memphis wasn't a rap headline, it was survival. Blac Youngsta didn't grow up dreaming about record deals. He grew up learning how to move smart, how to stay alert, and how to stand on principle in a city where respect is everything and betrayal gets remembered forever. Memphis isn't forgiving. It never has been. And once your name rings in those streets, it sticks, for better or worse. Yo Gotti already had his reputation locked in. A hustler turned rapper who actually lived what he rapped. Not an industry plant. Not a fake success story. When Gotti spoke about loyalty, people listened because he'd already proven he stood on it. When Blac Youngsta entered Gotti's circle, it wasn't just a cosign. It was a test. In Memphis, nobody hands you trust. You earn it through consistency, silence, and showing up when things get uncomfortable. And from day one, Youngsta understood that. He wasn't loud about it. He wasn't chasing clout. He was watching, learning, and absorbing how Gotti moved. That's why when Yo Gotti officially brought Blac Youngsta into CMG, Collective Music Group, it wasn't a business gamble, it was a statement. Gotti doesn't sign people he doesn't believe in. More importantly, he doesn't surround himself with people he can't trust. And Blac Youngsta? He didn't take that lightly. As CMG started rising, so did the pressure. The spotlight got brighter, the money got bigger, and the stakes got higher. And that's when loyalty really gets tested, not when things are good, but when everything starts to crack. The industry loves to watch crews fall apart. Labels whisper in artists' ears. Bloggers stir narratives. Friends turn into competitors. And suddenly, people you broke bread with start moving funny. But Blac Youngsta never played that game. While others chased solo fame, Youngsta stayed locked in. He embraced being CMG's most aggressive voice, the one who would speak when others stayed quiet. He wasn't just protecting Yo Gotti's brand, he was protecting the code they came up with. That's when the controversies started. Legal trouble. Public scrutiny. Headlines that didn't tell the full story. Moments where distancing yourself would have been the smartest career move. And behind the scenes, there were opportunities, real opportunities for Blac Youngsta to step away, soften his image, and save himself. But he didn't. Every time Yo Gotti's name was dragged into chaos, Youngsta stood firm. He never hinted at separation. Never fed the blogs. Never tried to rewrite history. Instead, he leaned in harder. That's a dangerous move in the rap game. Because loyalty in hip-hop often comes with consequences. Once you attach yourself too tightly to someone, their enemies become your enemies. Their problems become your problems. And suddenly, you're not just an artist anymore, you're a target. And Blac Youngsta knew that. There were moments where his name showed up in conversations that had nothing to do with music. Situations that could have ended careers or lives. And still, He never once suggested that Yo Gotti left him exposed. Never blamed him. Never hinted at regret. That silence spoke louder than any interview ever could. While the internet speculated, Youngsta stayed disciplined. No loose talk. No emotional tweets. No interviews trying to clean up narratives. That level of control isn't accidental. It's loyalty with structure. Behind the scenes, Yo Gotti noticed. This wasn't just about music anymore. This was about trust under pressure. And in Gotti's world, that's priceless. As CMG expanded, signing new artists and dominating charts, Blac Youngsta didn't complain about being overshadowed. He understood the long game. He understood that real power doesn't always mean being the loudest voice in the room. Sometimes it means being the one who never switches up. And when rumors of tension within CMG surfaced, like they always do in successful camps, Youngsta shut them down without saying a word. His presence alone sent the message. Studio sessions, tours, public appearances, always aligned. No subliminals, no passive-aggressive bars, no industry politics, just loyalty. In a genre where alliances last shorter than chart positions, Blac Youngsta made a choice most rappers are too scared to make. He tied his legacy to someone else's, fully aware of the risks. And that's where this story really starts to get serious. Because loyalty doesn't get dangerous until violence, law enforcement, and real street consequences enter the picture. And once that happened, Blac Youngsta crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. We're breaking down the moment everything escalated, when staying loyal stopped being symbolic and started becoming life-threatening. That's when you'll understand why this loyalty shocked everyone, and why real ones already saw it coming. We're breaking down the moment everything escalated, when staying loyal stopped being symbolic and started becoming life-threatening. Because once street politics, law enforcement, and real consequences enter the picture, loyalty isn't just a word anymore. It becomes a decision you live with or die for. As CMG's influence grew, so did the tension around Yo Gotti. Success attracts attention, but it also attracts enemies. Old beefs resurface. New grudges form. And suddenly, everything connected to the brand gets examined under a microscope. Blac Youngsta didn't just understand this, he accepted it. While most artists in his position would have dialed things back, rebranded, or quietly distanced themselves, Youngsta went the opposite direction. He stayed visible. He stayed vocal. And more importantly, he stayed loyal in moments where silence could have saved him. That's when the pressure really started to hit. Law enforcement attention intensified. Media narratives painted pictures that blurred facts with speculation. And here's the part people don't talk about enough. Blac Youngsta didn't need to be involved. He had his own buzz, his own fan base, his own lane. There were multiple points where separating his image from Yo Gotti would have been the smartest move for his personal future. But loyalty doesn't count like that. Instead of stepping away, Youngsta stood firm. Every appearance, every interview, every public move reinforced the same message: CMG wasn't divided, and Yo Gotti wasn't standing alone. That came with consequences. Suddenly, Blac Youngsta wasn't just viewed as an artist anymore. He was viewed as an extension of something bigger. And in the streets, that perception alone can change how people move toward you. Threats became real. Situations got tense. Decisions had to be made carefully. And yet, he never flipped the script. Behind closed doors, insiders say this is where Yo Gotti truly saw who Blac Youngsta was. Not when the money was flowing. Not when the charts were climbing. But when things got uncomfortable. When loyalty required sacrifice. Most people fold under that pressure. Youngsta didn't. Instead of leaking information to blogs, instead of telling his side to clean his image, he stayed quiet. Silence, in this case, wasn't weakness, it was discipline. Because talking too much in moments like that can cost lives. There were whispers about deals. Rumors about people being encouraged to cooperate. Stories about individuals choosing self-preservation over loyalty. Blac Youngsta never entertained that lane. And that's rare. In hip-hop history, we've seen countless examples of artists switching sides when things get hot. They justify it as growth, as maturity, as doing what's best for their family. And sometimes, that's true. But what made Blac Youngsta different was this. He never pretended loyalty was conditional. He never sold an image he couldn't live up to. The streets noticed. Fans noticed. And most importantly, Yo Gotti noticed. As time passed, CMG didn't crumble like so many expected. Instead, it expanded. New artists came in. The brand got stronger. The machine kept moving. And through it all, Blac Youngsta remained exactly where he started, standing next to Yo Gotti. No jealousy, no entitlement, no resentment. That kind of loyalty creates a bond that goes beyond music contracts. It turns into a family. And once you're family, there's no such thing as halfway loyal. But that level of commitment doesn't come without personal loss. Youngsta's image became permanently tied to controversy. Every headline involving Gotti seemed to pull his name into the conversation. Even when he wasn't involved, he was associated. That's the price. And he paid it willingly. There were moments when public opinion turned ugly. When social media is judged without facts. When narratives painted him as reckless instead of loyal. Still, no switch up. What shocks people isn't just that Blac Youngsta stayed loyal. It's how long he stayed loyal under pressure most people couldn't survive. Years went by. Situations changed. The industry evolved. Blac Youngsta didn't. He never rebranded as a new version of himself. Never tried to distance his story from Yo Gotti's. Never played the "I did it on my own" card. Because real ones know loyalty isn't loud. It's consistent. And consistency is dangerous in an industry built on convenience. By this point, Blac Youngsta had crossed the point of no return. Even if he wanted to walk away, the bond was already cemented. Too much history. Too much shared risk. And that's what makes this story so heavy. This isn't about being signed to a label. This isn't about favors or money. This is about standing on a code when breaking it would have been easier. We're going to expose how this loyalty reshaped Blac Youngsta's entire legacy, how it affected his career highs, his controversies, and why, no matter what happens next, his name will always be tied to Yo Gotti's in hip-hop history. That's when you'll really understand why people say real ones already knew. By the time people realized Blac Youngsta was never switching sides, it was already too late to question it. The narrative was set. His name and Yo Gotti's name were permanently linked, not by contracts, not by press runs, but by years of pressure that would have broken most artists long before the story ever reached this point. And that's where the legacy conversation begins. Because in hip-hop, legacy isn't just about hits or plaques. It's about what people say when your name comes up in rooms you'll never enter. It's about how you're remembered when the noise fades and the headlines stop trending. Blac Youngsta chose loyalty over reinvention. That choice shaped everything. As the industry shifted towards safer images, viral moments, and carefully managed personas, Youngsta stayed exactly who he'd always been. Loud, aggressive, unfiltered, loyal to a fault. That worked against him, and for him at the same time. On one hand, it limited certain opportunities. Brands stay away from controversy. Radio favors clean narratives. Award shows reward polish over principle. But on the other hand, it cemented something far more valuable: credibility. Fans might debate his music. Critics might question his decisions. But very few people question where Blac Youngsta stands. And in hip-hop, that matters. When younger artists started flooding into the game chasing fast success, Blac Youngsta's story became a quiet lesson, one nobody talks about directly, but everyone notices. You can build a career by switching alliances. You can grow faster by staying neutral. You can survive longer by choosing silence. But you'll never be remembered the same way. Youngsta accepted that trade-off. Even as CMG evolved, even as new faces took center stage, he never fought for the spotlight. He never demanded acknowledgement. He understood that his role was already defined, and he embraced it fully. That's rare. Behind the scenes, insiders have said Blac Youngsta became more than an artist in Gotti's world. He became someone whose presence alone signaled stability. Loyalty like that creates trust you can't buy. And trust is the real currency. That trust is why, even when Youngsta wasn't dropping hits nonstop, His position never disappeared. No quiet exit. No awkward separation. No creative differences press release. Because this wasn't business as usual. This was family. But loyalty always leaves scars. Blac Youngsta's career will always be judged through a different lens. Every move he makes gets analyzed as part of something bigger. Every controversy gets magnified. Every mistake gets tied to a narrative he can't escape. That's the price of standing too close to the fire. Yet even now, years later, he's never publicly expressed regret. No interviews hinting at what I would have done differently. No late-stage rebranding. No distancing language. That consistency is what shocks people the most. Because most artists eventually break character. Youngsta never did. As hip-hop continues to rewrite its rules, his story stands as a reminder of an older code, one where loyalty wasn't optional and alliances weren't temporary. It's not a glamorous legacy. It's not clean. It's not safe. But it's real. And that's why, no matter how the industry spins it, Blac Youngsta will always be remembered as more than just another rapper under Yo Gotti's label. He'll be remembered as the one who stayed. When things got uncomfortable. When narratives turned ugly. When walking away would have saved him. That's why his loyalty shocked outsiders, but never surprised real ones. Because real ones understand something the internet doesn't. Loyalty isn't proven when things are going well. It's proven when staying costs you something. Blac Youngsta paid that cost. In reputation. In opportunity. In perception. And still, he never switched up. Whether history rewards him or not, whether his music charts again or fades into cult status, one thing is locked in permanently. His name will always come up when hip-hop talks about loyalty that wasn't for show. Not loyalty for cameras. Not loyalty for clout. But loyalty that survived pressure, consequences, and time. And in a game built on convenience, that might be the rarest legacy of all. Real ones already knew. Before you scroll away, let me ask you something real. How many people do you know who would still stand beside you when it actually costs them something? Because that's what this entire story comes down to. Not fame, not money, not clout. Loyalty under pressure. If Blac Youngsta's story surprised you, if it made you rethink how fake most industry relationships really are, then don't keep that reaction to yourself. Hit the like button so this story reaches people who still respect real principles in hip-hop. And if you believe loyalty still matters in a game built on convenience, subscribe to the channel. We don't just cover headlines here, we break down the truth behind the relationships, the decisions, and the moments that define legacies. Drop a comment and tell us the truth. Did Blac Youngsta do the right thing by staying loyal to Yo Gotti no matter the cost? Or do you think loyalty in hip-hop is outdated? Your opinion matters, and trust me, we read every single comment. Also, share this video with one real one in your circle. The kind of person who understands that loyalty isn't loud, it's consistent. The kind of person who would still stand with you when things get uncomfortable. More deep dive stories like this are coming, stories the blogs won't fully explain and the industry doesn't like to talk about. So stay locked in, stay real, and remember, real ones already know.